it's Tino from Tino Vo Shop. So you all know about the super popular 3D jelly, but I never have a lesson on it. So today is the day. I will show you everything that 3D jelly can do. So this lesson is all about 3D jelly. We're gonna learn what it is, what all of the things that it can do, how to work with it, and how to mix different colored 3D jelly. So 3D jelly is like a builder gel. If you work with builder gel before, but it can do more than a typical builder gel like this clear one. This clear one, it can do slow blooming. We will go through that later. And it also doesn't need any top coat. After it's dry, it's perfectly shiny. And the white one, it can work with pigments smoothly. And I write it right here, stick to pigment powder, so you remember. And again, if you don't work with pigment, after it's dry, you just wipe it with alcohol or acetone and it'll be completely shiny. I also write it right over here. I like to write the description so you remember. Now, we're gonna go through the obvious first, which is building a nail or encapsulating a nail. It's the same step, but encapsulation, it have material right here. I put on a few hearts and I purposely make the edge a little bit jagged right here. So where it's sticking up, just for you to see, because we're gonna make it completely smooth. So when it comes to building a nail or encapsulate, what most people do wrong is that they will take a big bead and then they try to work on the nail surface. Now, when it comes to, let me take out another nails. Now, this gel is not a gel where you use pressure, because imagine you have a big bead like this. Okay, it's a big bead. So when it comes to anything that are 3D, you have to float on the surface like this. See, how you float. See that? Because if you apply pressure, it's flat. You cannot work with that when you apply pressure. So you have to float. So this is how people do it. They would take big bead and then they would try to float by swaying to the left, swaying to the right in circular motion from side to side. But your job is to fill up the shape nicely. And when you have a big bead and you couldn't even apply pressure, there's no way that you can completely cover the perimeter nicely. Either you're missing some spot or you tripping or go out of line. It's gonna be awful. So when it comes to something like this, there is 2 steps. Step number 1 is for you to take an amount like this, which is normal. Okay, this is a thin amount. And then you will paint on it. You will completely cover your nail on the edge and everything. You'll cover it. And then on the design, you completely cover under the edge and everything. Because, as I say, when a design have edges and you need to smoothen that out, if you put a big bead right over it, you will create air bubble. Because all the edges, there's air underneath it. So just take a big bead and just slap it over. It's gonna have bubble. So what you're doing right now is to completely fill the perimeter and all the nook and edges with gel, with wet gel. But just because you don't have a lot of gel, you just have a small amount, you can perfectly cover it just fine. You don't have to struggle through it. So this layer is called a slip layer. A slip layer, you leave it wet. You don't care it. Because when you put a big bead over, this slip layer gonna help guide that bead out, because 3D jelly is cell level, meaning it's smooth out by itself. So I am gonna pick up some bead. Now don't go too big at first. You can always add. But if your bit or too big, if you have too much gel on it, then what happened is you're not gonna be able to remove it. It's gonna be really messy. So you rather apply not enough, then add a little more, than applying too much and have it drip on you and everything. It can cause a lot of pressure for a lot of people if you don't do it right. But this way, you are relaxing, just a decent amount of gels. And again, I'm not applying any pressure. I'm floating on the surface, but I don't have to be thoroughly because I already applied the slip layer very thoroughly. So this layer, I'm just kind of focused right in the middle, and it's gonna help guide it out. Okay, right at the edge and everything. So this, how much I have left, I just return to the bottle. That's why I cut the bottle out like this, so there's edges where I can just wipe it through and it doesn't run down to these groove right here and make the bottle messy. If I completely remove everything, then gel might spill out, but I just cut a hole in it with a X-Acto knife. So now it's nice and clean. Okay, so you can also touch a little bit and guide it out anywhere where it haven't melted yet, it haven't spread out, you can guide it out. But this time, there's no pressure, there's no struggle, everything is perfect. And you can see it's a cell level gel, so it's gonna smooth it out for you. You don't have to like try to make it smooth. It doesn't need your help. It will do it by itself. Look at this, how smooth. The heart is completely, see that? Completely flat. So that's called encapsulation. And you're doing the same thing when you build a nail. Same step. You take our nail form, you apply on your fingers, and then you paint little tips, and then you cure it. So you take the form out, and you have long tips, and then you can slowly build it. It's called build a gel because of that. And this is how you encapsulate it. We're gonna cure this 60 seconds. And after 60 seconds, when you take it out, you don't need any top coat. Now that's special. 3D jelly is completely shiny. Now, when you first take it out, I can touch it right now. I can touch it right now because I have gloves on. But when you first take it out of the machine, it just fully polymerized. It's still fresh. You should not take your hand, your fingers, and touch it because your oil, it can mess with it. It needs to be left alone for about 5 minutes for it to be completely solidified. And it's done cooking and baking, and then you can touch it however you want. But this time, when you first take it out, just leave it alone. So that is the first part, the obvious part, is builder gel and encapsulation. Now, before I get to the special effect, I need to teach you how to build a shape. This is how to build a nail. Okay. Now, how to build a shape? Same things. You do a slip layers, and then you do a big bead and let it spread out. But when it's spread out, it doesn't have a brain. So it doesn't know that, okay, this is a heart. I need to spread out up here. I need to spread out right here. I need to leave this middle part alone. There is some edges right here. I need to leave that alone. It cannot do that. It's spread out evenly, which means this circle shape is a perfect shape, okay? Or oval, like the nails, okay? Or oblong, or even like square shape like this with round corners. It can even do a triangle. Okay. But when it comes to a heart, this is called a complicated shape. It can even do a teardrop. Okay, just like that. But you see, a heart, it has this groove right here. So when the 3D, right, from inside and it keeps spreading out evenly, eventually it will get here and it will completely fuse the heart. So the heart gonna look like this. Okay, and I will show you. I'm gonna use white 3D jelly, and I am going to apply a slip layer all over. I'm gonna show you the wrong way, and then after that I'm gonna show you the right way. Okay, so I'm using the curling brush for this. And that is to apply the slip layer. Now, I can use a round brush, it's bigger, when I pick up a big bead. And that I apply right here. Work it out, work it out. I don't have to be right at the edge because the slip layer will help me. And then some more on this side. Okay. Now, kind of finesse the bottom a little bit more. Okay. So that doesn't mean that you cannot do it all at once. It's just not perfect. It's not perfect because it doesn't have a brain. It doesn't know how to avoid this metal part. And that's because I'm fast. If you're not fast, or if you apply thicker than this is decent for a 3D design. But when it comes 3D, we want to add more. We want it to be really big. And whenever it happens, it kind of slowly blend everything out. So to build a shape, there is a strategy for it. So I already wipe up these layers. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to divide it into two simple shapes. One teardrop on one side, one teardrop on the other side. Because these shapes are simple, so it kind of spread out and I'm not going to have issue with it. And that's how you maneuver shape. So let's take out let's use the emboss brush. And curling brush and emboss brush are the same except for the length. Emboss brush are longer. See, the slip layer is allow you to be meticulous. When I first started and I go in with a big bead, it's always messy. And I always like trying to make it good and perfect, but struggle through it. Then later on I learned you don't have to struggle to make it perfect. You just need tricks. It's a different trick how you approach different designs. See, I have a slip layer on just half of the heart. Then I take out the round. And now I can build it. And by all means, you can build really thick. This is a simple shape. You have a flash cure right by you and you can just flash cure it really quick. Okay. Now, on top, I focus more on the top. That's where the bulk is at. And I have less focus in the bottom because that's where the point coming into. Anytime there's things that are pointy, you don't need a lot of gel. It's pivot to that point. So it's going to look like this. That beautiful. You can apply more. You can go thicker. Look at that. Okay. So let's cure this. Then, again, I switch back to the embossed brush. Pick up just a tiny bit of gels. Now you know the drill. That's called a slip layer. And paint right on the other side. Very easy, stress free, and you can achieve master level without struggling. Advanced nail tech doesn't struggle. They just know all kind of formula and technique to achieve incredible design. And it's my job to take all that and show beginner exactly how to do it. It doesn't take years and years and years and years of practice. It just takes experience. It takes knowledge. Now, I'm just taking round brush and put on a big layers. Remember, I don't take a lot first. I can always add. Remember, if you take up a big, gigantic bead, you're stuck with that bead. Cannot separate the gel. You have to put the whole thing onto the design, and that's not good. So just a little bit. Okay, I can see that it's already even now. Now, see, I focus on the top, and then on the bottom, I just sort of dragging it out. Not with pressure. It's like hovering it, as you can see here. Okay, get this. And then, after I cure, okay, this is where you're gonna be incredible. You're gonna be so impressed. So now, the shape, flawless. The thickness, flawless. But what we're gonna do about this middle part right here, well, that's easy. You just create a slip layer on the entire things. Just because it's not thick, it's not going to blend out everywhere. It's gonna be thin. So I just make a thin layers. Okay, you can go as thin as possible. You don't have to try hard. Just don't have a lot of gels, and you just put it right in the middle first, and then you can start blending it out. Take your time if you want. You can be fast if you want. Just remember that right now you're no longer stressed. Completely stress-free. Okay. Slip layer is already on. You just take a little bit of this. Just tiny bit. And then you can just add right here in the groove. If it's not filled up enough for you, you can even move side to side. Just so it's filled that up. Okay. And then wait for it to sound level and cure it. And you have a beautiful 3D heart. It's like you just scooped it out of acrylic or something. But it's completely out of gel. It looks amazing. The groove, perfect. Sharp, pointy, like AI. Like a machine does it. So now you can cure this 60 seconds and you're done. Now, let's close this. Like I said before, this is not ordinary like builder gels. You can take acetone, okay, or alcohol, whatever you like. And after it's cured, wipe it completely clean. And look at this. Look at this shine. Oh, perfect. That would be so sad if you have to top coat this again and again. It's just waste time. So this is built to where you don't need top coat. So I am gonna take this, which I already applied pigment base. I'll show you the bottle so you know this is pigment base. And it can adhere pigment very well. And then I'll put on 3D jelly and I'll show you how it can work with pigment. Now, when it comes to pigment, it will stick on the inhibition layer of the gels. But you see, not every inhibition layer is ideal. Regular gel polish inhibition layer is way too wet. And when it's wet, it's going to make your pigment muddy. It's not gonna be smooth, and that's why sometimes people use pigment on gel and it stick to gels. It just not blend very well, and it's all ugly and unattractive, and then they think they're not good with pigment. It's just what they put it on. Like, let's use this. Let's let's add one more just to make it fun. Okay, so now it's all embossed. Okay, you can use this for emboss, just like this. Emboss meaning thick design. Now you're gonna cure this. And I will take out my super pigments. And I use Indian pigment, so it's very, very smooth. I'm taking this out. And this is done curing. I am starting with blue. And when it comes to pigment, I need something like this, where I can knock up dust. I used to do it in the edge of my table. I used to knock up excess dust on the edge, but it's just a little messy. So I found something like this, so I can knock up the excess dust. And now look. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Ooh, look at that. So this is how it's worked with pigment, and the reason why I put pigment base in the background too, just for the effect. Just for the base and the emboss are sensitive to pigment. And that's beautiful. And then you can also add other colors. I start out with blue. Let me add some pink in, just for fun. And then take pink, knock up excess dust. I need to zoom out just so you can see everything. And it's great purple when it's blended with the blue. And then now, maybe put on yellow. Just a little more pink down here. And then put on yellow. Just right between the pink and the blue and the yellow. It will create orange with pink. And then it will create green with the blue. And it's all rainbowy. All neon. So that is also another thing that you can do with 3D jelly. White 3D jelly is to mix with pigments. Dust it up. And again, as I say, if you don't plan to work with pigment, then you can just wipe everything off. You put on pigment base, put on top coat, then 3D jelly, and then wipe everything off. And if you want shine, you can use shine. Or you can use matte at the top coat to secure your pigment, flow with the design instead of going against the design. Flow with it. You can also rub chrome on it if you like. Make it even more special. That's how beautiful this is. So that is the story of white 3D jelly. So it can encapsulate, it can build nail, it can build shape, it can work with pigment. So let's get back the clear 3D jelly right here. And I am gonna show you a blooming method. See, when you bloom design, that's easy. You just take out blooming gels, you apply on the surface, and then you just take different color gel, and then you just draw on the surface and it bloom out. But that is an abstract form of blooming if you do something that are simple. But let's say I want to do a rose. Okay, I want to make a rose. Now we're talking about shape and details. And when it comes to it, you can experience issue if you work with a blooming gels. When I want to go around and teach people, I noticed that when they do the blooming rose, they experience difficulty on timing. Now I apply clear 3D jelly all over this. So I'm gonna take out some pigment base, which is a white gel polish, a special white gel polish, and a 7mm details. When you work with rose, you want the brush to be really short, not a long one. Okay, now you take out the pigment base, and I am going to draw rose. Start out in the center. And remember, I just apply a thin layer of 3D jelly. I'm not encapsulating it. I'm just using it for its blooming effect. But this time, what you have is time, because it's not a top coat. It's not going to spread out like crazy. What it does is it have control timing, because it's a builder gel. Even if it bloom out, it's gonna bloom out evenly. Sometimes if you do a rose and it's like morph, it because the top coat are liquidy and runny. What this one, you're gonna keep the shape of your petal and just bloom out slowly. Very controlled. Okay, just like that. And you wanna apply the petal further apart because you need it to have room to bleed out. Okay, don't put right next to it, but give it a little space. Just like that. And a little bit on top. And when you work with 10 fingers and when you are chit-chatting with your client, then this is a perfect material for you to use because you're not stressing. When you work with something that blooms so fast, you have to stress. And when it blooms way faster than your work pace, then at that point, it will be a hot mess. That is perfect. Just for that scenario where you don't want to be stressed on timing, that is a perfect thing for you to use. Is 3D jelly. Look, it just slowly bloom out. You can slowly take your time. And let me zoom in to here. See that? The inside. It's completely touch each other. That's why you leave it space so it can go out. Because if you apply right next to it, it doesn't have any room to go out. So it stops right there. See this petal? You give it room, so now it just go out right to the next design. And that's where it's going to stop. So what I want is to wait until all these black lines get really thin. And then I proceed. If you're impatient, you can go ahead and put it in the machine and cure right now. And what I like to do is take out a gel, liner gel, like one stroke liner right here. Pick up a little gels. And I like to give it little details. Still using the 7mm liner details. Twirl it around. And then you're gonna take your 3D jelly out. And what I want is to give it little detail right from the inside of each petal like this. So it can be sharp from the inside but blendy on the outside. And I'm not just tracing it, but I am going to extend the line and hooking around these. So it's like extending the petals. See that? So I would do it to this too, to extending it. There. This petal. Trace the inside the petal and extend it. You can pick the inside or the outside, but just one direction and go with it on every petal. Like right here. Now this is just extra. You don't have to do this, but it's gonna make the design look way better. More attention to details. Just because I teach you something, that doesn't mean that you have to do everything I told you. You can skip. You can skip different steps. If you understand that step and you view it as not important, you can skip it. If it look related. But if a step that responsible for special effect, then of course you cannot skip it. Okay, if you do, then your design wouldn't turn out the way you like it. I just chit-chatting just to wait until I'm done with this. Just to kill time. And the inside of the row, I'm gonna give it a little twirl and that's it. See, it's look more 3D, it look more expensive. Hear this? One of my favorite things is to take our stained glass gel number 14 and apply right on the surface. Give it colors. Look at that. Look how beautiful it is. So that is how I work with 3D jelly when it comes to blooming, because it doesn't really pressure you. And then you just top coat and you're done. Ooh, and take out some gold Pixie gel and 10mm liner. You gotta dress it up all the way. I already applied top coat on this though. And then you can just take out some gold Pixie gel and maybe you frame this. Like that. Maybe add a little drip on it. Little gold drips. Like that. And then maybe some on the cuticle too, just to make it all fancy. Hear this? Now, what about color? So before I have 3D jelly and then white 3D jelly and then black 3D jelly. But the black, you cannot use for pigment because you wouldn't see any color. So it have to use for chrome, right? So it just is really the same as the clear 3D jelly. So that's why now I cancel out the black, because you can make the black 3D jelly among other colors. And what you do is you mix with art gel, because art gel are no wipe. If you mix with a gel polish, then the gel polish is have an impression layer and it gonna mess with, if you wanna leave it no wipe or no top coat, it's gonna mess with it. So just use a no wipe element like art gel. Art gel are completely no wipe. So if you wanna make black 3D jelly, you can mix black art gel in there. You wanna make pink 3D jelly, you can mix pink in there. Or you can mix it with pigment. The pigment doesn't have anything, it just draw colors. But mix it with what is a problem. So let's say I want black, okay? I'm just taking out a little bit of black. I should get out 3D jelly first to know how much. Okay, take it out. You need just a little bit of colors, okay? And this much black, and you mix it in. Now, what happened is the color will be a little translucent for emboss. So when you apply, you don't apply it thin. You apply it thick. And when you apply something that are thick, well, it's not going to be translucent anymore because it's thick. So that sheer translucent look is not a problem at all. So that is how you mix it. You don't mix a lot of color. You just mix a little bit of color in. Let's say you want to mix a bright color like this, okay? This is a problem that you might encounter. It's not a problem. It's just if you take pink and you mix it into clear, this is what you're going to get. It's beautiful, but it's not as bright as you want to be, or it's not as bright as I want it to be. Like that. So that is the pink that I able to make from it. Now, the reason why it's not as bright because it's condensed. It condensed like the bright color is grouped together. Like if you have red hair and when you're in the shower, your red hair seems to be deeper when it's wet. And when it dry, it seems to be brighter because of the condensation. And in that case, you can use white 3D jelly. Okay. Apply white in for any bright colors. And you can see the difference. I put some white 3D jelly right here. And then I put on some clear 3D jelly right here. Put some more on. And then I show them side by side. See the difference? So any color that you want super bright, just use white. And any color like, let's say black or red, well, when you mix, let's say you have red and you mix white, it's gonna be like salmon. If you have bright pink and you mix white, it's just brightest. So that is which 3D jelly to mix with what color. So just normal color, you clear. But if you need it to be neon or bright, then you use white. And when you use clear 3D jelly to mix with a color, when you're done, you're done. And when you use white 3D jelly mixed with a color, when you're done, remember, it's sticky enough that you can apply pigment on smoothly. Or if not, you can just take alcohol acetone to wipe up the bright pink 3D jelly right here, and then it'll be completely shiny. And that is how you work with 3D jelly. I'll show you how to find it on my website. So this is my website. Anytime that I have new product, I put it right here, right in front of the logo. And 3D jelly typically are in the new and popular. That's where our new item is and where our popular item is. See that? But its true home is in 3D art. 3D art is where everything that are 3D is at. It's have more than just 3D jelly. But 3D jelly category is right here. And then there you can find it. I have a big size. It's HEMA-free, TPO-free, black, white, it's all like that. It's amazing. And embossed jelly, it's just like 3D jelly, but it's in a tube. Just in case you like to work with tubes. And that is the end of our lesson. Don't forget to subscribe us on YouTube at Tinovo. And everything that I use today is available at www.tinovo.shop. And until next time, bye-bye.